Greetings and welcome to this week's lore video, where we will be taking a good look at the history of the Charr. I'm your host, Zolfury, and just a quick note before we continue. This is intended to be in the format of an audio podcast, so feel free to turn away from the video and just listen if you so choose. The Charr have always been a fighting race that, at one time, controlled the eastern side of the Shiver Peak Mountains. They were constantly fighting anything they could, including each other. Finally, a leader stepped forward to unite the Charr. He was the first Khan-Ur. Before the human gods brought the humans to Tyria, the Charr fought with the Forgotten, an ancient, snake-like race, in the Blaze Ridge Mountains. Sometime after the Forgotten were pushed back, the humans appeared. Aided by their gods, the humans pushed the Charr from their southern border. That land became known as Ascalon around 100 BE. When the Charr were driven back, the Khan-Ur was assassinated. Having left no clear heir, the Khan-Ur's children, who were known as imperators, established the Charr High Legions, one leading over each legion. Those legions are the Blood Legion, the Flame Legion, the Ash Legion, and the Iron Legion. Some of the Charr felt that in order to effectively combat the humans, they needed gods to call their own. They found them when the Flame Legion's burnt warband traveled to the Harangmer volcano. A pillar of fire arose from the volcano, and there appeared the Titans, powerful beings of fire that the Charr would call gods. Once the burnt warband returned, the Flame Legion's Shaman caste, the first Charr to accept the gods, brought together the rest of the Charr warbands, uniting them under their faith. With the Charr united for the first time since the assassination of the Khan-Ur, they finally returned to war against the humans, in 1070 AE. The Cauldron of Cataclysm was given to the Charr by their gods, which allowed them to breach the humans' great northern wall, and wage war against the three human kingdoms, Ascalon, Ur, and Kryta. With this assault, they ended the last guild wars with the ritual of the Searing, which caused crystals to rain down from the sky and tear the wall asunder. However, the Titans invaded Tyria in 1072 AE, though they were ultimately defeated in front of the Charr during the Flameseeker prophecies. This caused a rebellion amongst the Charr to break out against the Flame Legion and the Shaman caste. This revolt gave the Charr, not part of the Flame Legion, a severe distaste for gods of any form, and thus no longer worshipped them. While this revolt ensued in the north, to the south, in Ascalon, the battle raged on. The humans were without the defense of their great northern wall, and thus Ascalon was overrun and ultimately conquered within the next 2 decades. All but one city, the city of Ascalon. In 1090 AE, the Imperator of the Flame Legion wished to bring the war to an end, once and for all. He besieged Ascalon City for many days without end. Eventually, the might of the Ascalonians failed, and King Adalbern unleashed the power of Magder, and brought forth the Foe Fire. This caused all the remaining humans in Ascalon to be killed, and their spirits bound to that land. The mighty fortress of Ebonhawk still stood for many years, faithfully holding off the Charr until 1324 AE, when the war finally came to a close with a peace treaty being formed. 40 years after the fall of the Flame Legion's gods, a final rebellion against the shamans began. The Flame Legion was in a stalemate with the other legions, and the Shaman caste were able to hold their ground. However, an army of female Charr emerged. These had been training in secret for generations, seeing as the female Charr were outlawed from battle some centuries past. With these new reinforcements, the Shaman caste had to surrender. Following the defeat of the Shaman caste, the Flame Legion was renamed the Gold Legion out of mockery, and the rest of the Charr still treat them as below them. Also, thanks to their help with bringing down the shamans, the female Charr were reinstated into the military. United once more, the Charr took hold of most of the land east of the Shiver Peaks, all but Ascalon City and the fortress of Ebonhawk. The Charr have since brought on new technologies for war, such as siege engines and firearms. These technologies will be vital in the upcoming battle against the Elder Dragons. That wraps things up for the day. I certainly hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to tune in next week, where we will take a look at the resilient humans. I'm Zelfury, and I'll see you then.